Yo, what up everybody? Ari here and welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to be talking to e-commerce entrepreneur Noah Brewer, who in the past 3 years has gone from door-to-door salesman to generating over $10 million in sales for his e-commerce agency at only 20 years old. We had a really meaningful conversation and I'm sure you guys are going to enjoy it. We talked about a ton of actionable tips regarding Facebook ads, winning products, his overall journey, and also we even revealed a winning product that was getting a 20 ROAS with Facebook ads, which is very unheard of. So there's a ton of things to unpack from this interview. And without further ado, make sure to like and subscribe and let's get right into the video. What up everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm here with a special guest, Noah Brewer. We're gonna just be having a real ass conversation, talk about e-com life. So yeah, I mean, let's just get started. Noah, if you could just introduce yourself a bit.
Yeah, so obviously my name is Noah. I've been doing YouTube for a little bit. I basically started in the e-commerce space as an agency, and so far we've generated around $10 million in sales for our clients through Shopify and Facebook ads. I started at the end of 2017, so it's been probably 3.5 years. Around there.
Wow.
I started my YouTube channel to just share what I do behind the scenes.
Oh yeah, I feel that.
Which, now I have a team, but I'm still, just in my last video, I just took my team in the video. So I'm still trying to share what we're doing. Yeah. And obviously it helps bring in more clients and people get results.
Yeah, that's really smart. I feel that 100%. So I guess first thing I want to ask you is just how did you get into e-com? Like a little bit about maybe prior work experience. How did you end up in this space?
Right. So obviously it's a long story, but I'll keep it short. And this is your first time hearing this too.
Yeah, this is
actually your first time meeting. So.
Yeah, we've talked for a while on DMs and shit, but we've never actually met in person. So this is really, really cool.
Yeah. So I was actually a salesperson for a course, for an e-commerce course that wasn't mine. It was actually Mark Hagar.
What? I didn't know that.
Yeah, who later became my mentor. So I started off in sales, and I was basically selling his course because he did $1 million with his e-commerce brand. So I learned about e-commerce through that. Yeah. And one of the people that we sold the course to, one of Mark's students asked me and my friend Dennis if we could manage his ads for him. And we were obviously like, hold on, we don't know what we're doing. Yeah. we're just salespeople. We don't really know. But this guy, being honest, he had a lot of money, and he basically just wanted to hire us to automate the whole process. So we came up with this idea to take the money that the client paid us, me and Dennis, and put that money into Mark. So we kind of middleman a mentorship. Yeah. So I took the money that he paid us to manage his ads, and we took that money and spent it on Mark. Wow. So I got basically free mentorship.
Damn, that's really clever.
Yeah, because I didn't have a lot of money back then. But yeah, I got free mentorship, and the first couple of months were slow, but the third month we did 25K in sales or so. Damn. Which was okay. It wasn't anything crazy.
Third month though, that's pretty fire.
Profits were not that great, so we ended up stopping with that client. But I went to Mark hey, is it the strategy I'm using? Is it the product? Why didn't this do that well? Yeah. And it ended up just being the product. So I just trusted Mark, trust the process. Right. And we got another client. So obviously we said, hey, we just took this guy to 30K in sales, whatever. Let's see what we can do for you. And we actually did a profit share only partnership. We were kind of hey, we're still new, but we have some experience and I have this mentor. Yeah. And that guy, we ended up taking to 1,000 a day in sales from nothing to in 30 days.
That's crazy, bro. That's actually really interesting. That takes me back because I remember, do you remember Richard? Yep. Did you mentor him at all?
Yeah, he was my client with one of his stores really early on, probably around March.
Oh, that's crazy because he was my mentor too for a little bit. When I was getting started with Facebook ads, I didn't know shit about anything either, and I was and I knew that he was getting a few results. So it was literally around that same time.
Yep. We didn't do anything crazy with his store, but it was probably 5 or 6 ROAS, and we scaled it to 140K or something like that. Yeah,
that's really dope. And he helped me also scale my store, and from then that's kind of where I started learning. And I guess the process that I follow is honestly similar to probably based on your process, because
maybe. So back then I had a completely different method, but
yeah, I feel you. So I guess we can talk a little bit about that. As far as Facebook ads goes, what would you say has made the biggest difference with getting actual consistent results? Because I know that the biggest issue people have is being profitable. They'll spend all this money and break even or just end up at a loss.
Yeah, well, I was I am obviously a student. I didn't figure out Facebook ads on my own. And I think that that's one of the reasons I was able to see success so quick is because I was basically being taught like in a very aggressive way. Yeah. Like Mark would tell me exactly what to do. And if I didn't do it, he would yell at me. Yeah. So it was just, tough love. I was just kind of doing what I was told. And then after, a few months, I started to understand why. So I think biggest thing that you can take away is just follow a method like as strictly as you can. Yeah. And if you don't have a method, then get a method.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I think that's like what people struggle with is, they'll start not seeing results and start testing a bunch of other shit. Yep. And then, it's just they're never consistent enough to see anything through, I guess. Yeah.
And that's one big benefit with my agency now, or if you're in a mentorship program, is if you just watch YouTube videos, you might know of the methods, but like when you're actually in your ad account trying to implement them, you might like mess it up a little bit, right? Like one guy might do 18 to 65 plus age range, and then you're just like, in your vibe. So you're like, oh, I'm just going to do 24 plus. I feel like a lot of people try to mix strategies as well. Yeah. Like they know what they're doing, but at the same time they don't.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. And what he's talking about is like the age ranges on Facebook, which I'm sure a lot of you guys probably know about since, I make videos about Facebook ads every once in a while here. Another thing I want to talk about, because obviously the Facebook ad side of things is really important, and we just talked about that, but what about products? Like, because obviously, you can't really make a shit product work with Facebook, or maybe you can. I mean, I don't know. What's your take on that? Like, products, what makes a product a winner?
If we're talking about right now, I follow something called, I kind of coined it the Pioneer Method, which is more trying to find products that are untapped or basically not generally known by drop shippers. Oh, And then also products that are good. So like a good example would be a camera lens. So there was this cool camera lens, and it was like a glass ball, and it would allow photographers to take pictures, and it left this like really cool trace on the actual picture. Damn. And you didn't need any editing. So that was found basically just by scrolling through AliExpress, nothing fancy. We just saw it and we were like, hey, this is pretty cool. There was like no sales on it at all. Yeah. If you look it up on Facebook, you couldn't find it, which you can now, obviously.
Yeah. But it was untapped at the time. Like totally untapped.
I mean, there was one brand that was doing it, which we actually ran into issues with because they had patents and stuff. Okay. But I mean, it was just a good example. Like we launched it, and this product, no joke, had a 20 ROAS for the first week.
20 ROAS? That's fucking crazy.
I think that was one of the highest ROAS I've seen on a drop shipping product.
Damn. So ROAS is return on ad spend. I know most of you guys probably know that, but just in case, so you spend $1, you're making 20 back with a 20 ROAS. Like that's pretty unheard of. So I actually really like that, and I think that's a big reason why a lot of people don't succeed. They just like follow the crowd, and I think that's generally like not a good idea like in life, to be honest with you, but even more so when it comes to finding products. I think it is, a good idea to look for products that are more unique and that you could like brand, like actual good products. So
it's a lot easier when you have more experience.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and that's another thing, as far as the criteria, because what made you choose that product? Just the fact that it was unique, or?
Yeah, I mean, that's the hard thing about it. Is
you gotta have the eye.
You just kind of look at it and you're like, this could be cool. And I mean, there is criteria that I give out, but at the end of the day, you have to use your own judgment. Right. And obviously my judgment is probably going to be better than you if you're just starting out. Yeah. Because I'm just more aware of products. Yeah. That's going to be your biggest enemy.
Yeah, that makes sense. And like I guess it's also, you're lucky, or not necessarily lucky because you built this business, but you have an agency, so you get to see all these different things that work. You get to test out all these different products. Yeah. So that leads me to the next question is like, what made you get into the agency side of things?
Well, at the point of like where we took on the second client, that's when we started to realize like, okay, I've learned this skill. Now how do we fully capitalize it? Yeah. And obviously I had no money. Like I was probably making like $3,000 a month at that point for only like 3 months. Yeah. So I didn't have any money. Yeah. So starting an e-commerce store, I could have done it. But we were like, okay, so we took on a client. It worked. We took on another client, which we took to $1,000 a day in 30 days from nothing. Yeah. So, we tested products with him. I think that was more luck than anything. Yeah. But the third time it was not luck. We took that client from $1,000 a day to $5,000 a day in 2 weeks. So he was already had a winner when he came to us.
Yeah.
And that was kind of our bread and butter at the time, which was finding people that had winners and helping them scale. And that's mostly why. Like, we were able to take a percentage of the profits, implement what I know or what I've learned, and obviously I was focusing on getting better.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's a really good situation for me.
Yeah.
Because I could just implement my skills on the back end. I don't have to deal with fulfillment.
Right.
I don't have to deal with customer service. I don't own the businesses. I'm just providing a service, and then I get paid a % of profits.
For sure.
Which I still implement the profit share scale now, because honestly, you make way more money with profits on scaling stores than you do on like any agency retainer.
Yeah, like a retainer. Yep. That's really I mean, and I like that you're really transparent about that too. Like, that shows a lot. And I could definitely see how that's beneficial.
Yeah,
you know?
Like, there's a lot of people that, you know, they think that, or like they think that I'm doing the agency because it's or because I can't do it for myself.
Yeah.
I have done it for myself multiple times. I've taken 2 stores to 100K on my own. Wow. And I hated every second of it.
Yeah, it's just now your bread and butter. Like, you know what you like.
I would much rather sit behind a computer and just run ads. And like you said, it's a super good deal for everybody, because
it's a win-win.
Yeah, like, I can have, especially now with my team, I can manage, I think right now we have about 80 clients. So that's
holy shit.
Yeah.
That's fucking
so
crazy.
That's, you know, 80 stores that I have a 20% cut in.
Yeah.
And I choose out all the products that they test.
Wow.
But super beneficial for me. And I mean, somebody like me, I could easily go off and just do this stuff on my own. Yeah. I think I would hate my life a little bit, though.
I mean, you got to do what you like at the end of the day. And like, you're lucky that you found what you like about e-commerce and just like went all in.
Yeah, the Facebook
and I mean,
ads.
That goes. That's what I'm saying. It is beneficial for the client as well, because, you know, for example, someone like me, as much as Facebook ads I do like, it's not my favorite part of running a brand. Like, for me, it's more about the design, like the social media, just like the branding behind the store. Like, that's the part I enjoy the most. So I could see, I mean, there's definitely other people like that too. So it goes hand in hand with someone like you that just enjoys the systems and just like really crushing it with Facebook. That's really, really cool. I guess another question that I just thought of right now is like, you're at 80 clients. Like, that's a pretty massive amount of success when it comes to an agency. How did you go from like that one client to this? I mean, like, what was the time frame? Like,
yeah, well, it's been 3 years.
Okay.
You know,
3 years of just like, you stuck to this 100% focus.
So a big transitional point was I had 10 to 15 clients most of year one.
Yeah.
I wasn't making any crazy money on profit shares, maybe like 15, 20K a month, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
And then I started doing more consulting where I was actually teaching people. So that was a lot easier of a sell, because I could help people that are not only scaling, but I could also help people that were just testing, which wasn't scalable, by the way.
Yeah.
I brought it up to my maximum, which I believe was 40 students doing 2 calls per week each.
Holy shit, that's a lot of time.
Yeah, I was no joke doing 80 calls a week, you know, not including makeup calls. So probably 5-6 days a week. I was, from the minute I wake up to go to bed, I'm on calls.
Yeah.
That's it. And
that's commitment.
In that 1 year, probably about 6 million of the 10 million is attributed to the students that I had in that year.
Wow.
So, and each student, by the way, was testing about 2 products per week, I'd say on average. So.
Wow.
Yeah, and I was looking over all the test results and reviewing all the products for them as well. So all the products they tested, I picked out of their list.
Yeah.
So they would go out and build a list, and I would choose it. So yeah, I've literally overviewed thousands and thousands of product tests.
Holy shit, that's actually ridiculous. Like you probably have done more than anyone else I know or have met.
Yeah, because it's a unique structure, right?
It
because
is.
If you did that many product tests on your own, you would need a massive team and a lot of money. But because I was divided across, 40 people, now it's 80 people.
Yeah, and you're specialized.
Yeah, like I just have so much data incoming, and it's hard to replicate. Like, it's such a unique structure.
Yeah.
And on top of that, it gives me the ability to focus on replication.
Yeah.
As an agency, I really want success over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Like, I can't implement strategies that would work well for you, but not for another guy.
That's not a solid system, replicable.
So my methods right now, It's always based on the highest chance of success for the most amount of people. I can't really just whip up Facebook ads and do things randomly like some people can.
Yeah.
I more have like, it's super duper structured.
Yeah.
Which there's pros and cons to that.
For sure.
But obviously the pro is for a beginner, it's super easy.
Yeah,
right? Like,
you just have to follow the steps, you know?
They just follow the steps, and sure, you could do upsells. You could scale a little bit higher than I normally do.
Right.
You can do a lot of things that I don't normally do.
Yeah.
But, that's where me and your average dropshipper differ, is like I'm focused on how to replicate success because I have all these people relying on me.
Right, as opposed to just going wildly based on something, right? That it's more predictable this way. I think that's a really good lesson to learn, to be honest with you. Yeah. And I think another good lesson to learn from what we just said, as far as like your agency, is just you've really focused on your craft, and you really focus on like your agency this whole time, as opposed to everyone like going left and right, doing this and that. This is like really solid. Yeah.
I mean, Facebook, they're not anymore because I have probably 11 ad buyers now. But there was a time where I could literally navigate the entire business manager with my eyes closed. Yeah. I could make a campaign with my eyes closed. I'm pretty sure I filmed myself making a campaign with my eyes closed.
That's a pretty good video idea. Launching Facebook ads with a blindfolded.
Yeah, and then on top of that, the strategical aspect of it, like, the way that we implement strategies is honestly insane. Yeah. Like, I used to do it in my head, but now that I have a team, it has to be on paper so they can all work together.
Oh, okay.
So we're kind of in between two methods right now, because I think the old method that I had was great, but I don't think it utilizes CBOs as much as it should. Okay. So I just uploaded a video on my channel of a completely new method that we've never done before.
Damn.
And the very first time we implement it, it took a client to 10K a day. In 2 months.
That's crazy.
So he did like 224K in sales and around 50K in profit.
Wow. So what I see also about your methods too, that I think it's interesting and something to point out, is that you don't go from 1K a day to 10K a day in a day, you know, which it is certainly possible. Like, anybody who's done, it's you can just send your budgets like 10x everything and make 10K a day the next day, but you follow like a consistent, gradual process. Yeah. And, what do you think is the biggest benefit to that, as opposed to just like sending it?
Well, there's a couple reasons. Mm-hmm. I think it allows the ads to just optimize better. I kind of work on momentum. So a lot of the scale charts that I post, you'll see that they kind of start really slow. Yeah. And then it kind of spikes towards the end. So I kind of like that scale. It's what I'm comfortable with. It's what I have experience with. Another reason is just because I'm working with clients. These are normal people with only a couple grand. Right. And, they can't afford to go from 1 to 10K.
Yeah. I mean, most people can't. So that's another great point. Like, cash flow is a big reason why you should probably not do that.
Yeah. So like when you scale that fast, Facebook takes your money instantly. Yeah. You have to fulfill your orders instantly. You don't have to, but you should.
Yeah, you should. You probably should.
But Stripe takes 3 days to pay out. So if you scale your ad spend from 1 to 5K a day out of nowhere, even if it's profitable, you're not going to see that increase in sales for another 3 days. Yeah. So you got to be able to cover the ad spend. So that's partially why I have scaled stores really, really quickly. When I have a more experienced client or just a client with more money.
For sure, if they're ready. Like, no, that's awesome. So another thing I wanted to ask you, I guess, based on this is, you said you use a lot more CBOs now. Mm-hmm. So since you've, touched on this on your channel, I guess we can talk about it briefly here. Like, so prior to CBOs, I guess then you were doing a lot more ad set budgets.
Oh, yeah. All ad set budgets.
Not any CBOs at all.
Nope.
And now you're using mostly CBOs, or what's your like ratio, I guess?
Well, for the normal method that we're following, we start with normal ad sets. Okay. We probably do 2 or 3 campaigns. Mm-hmm. And then we take the best ad sets out of those campaigns and put them into CBOs. So by the time we get to CBOs,
they're proven audiences.
Yeah, so like we're basically scaling. So we're more using CBOs as a scaling tool. Yeah. Not really for testing or retargeting. Right. But with the new method, we're actually using it more with testing, and honestly, it's kind of working the same.
Okay. You don't see like a huge...
Not a huge difference. Yeah. Like, definitely a difference when you go transition into the scaling phase. Okay. I think starting CBO is a little bit better. Just because it's already a CBO, you don't have to transition from ABO to CBO.
Yeah. My main question here too is like when it comes to the test, well, how do you structure a CBO test as opposed to like an ad set budget test?
Well, we've tested a lot. Like I said, the system that we use for testing is it's in steps. So it's like step 1, step 2, step 3, and then we have basically 10 to 15 different methods in each step.
Damn.
And we test all those different methods, just across the clients who agree to it.
Yeah.
We ask them like, hey, can we test out this new method? And we narrow down the one that works the best, and then we go to step 2. We stick to the one that worked the best for step 1, which would be like campaign number 1.
Yeah.
And then for campaign number 2, we would test 15 different things and narrow it down to 1.
Yeah.
And I think the one that won the step number 1 was 7 ad sets at $35 a day.
Okay, and just one CBO?
Yeah, 1 CBO, and that would be like your test campaign.
And how long would you run that for? Just like 3 days or 4
2
days?
days.
2 days?
Yep.
Damn, okay, so a lot of you guys might be hyped to hear that because I know a lot of people are like, okay, $5, $3 a day ad sets. Like, people want to spend as little as possible to test.
Yeah.
Which, I obviously understand. Like, you don't want to just waste any money. Yeah, that's really interesting. I thought that honestly CBOs would just work best like only when you do like high budgets.
I mean, like I said, we've tested it all. We've tested obviously we tell all of our clients that we spend $100 per product test.
Yeah.
So I have to keep my methods below that, but I have tested with higher during testing.
$100 per test, you're saying?
Yeah. So like if there's a product and you spend $100 on ads and it doesn't pop off, we just throw it.
Yeah, it's not gonna.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've done 50 a day with 10 ad sets, 50 a day with 5 ad sets. Just different variations of budgets and the amounts of ad sets.
Yeah, you've just tested all those things.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I believe 10 ad sets at 50 a day also did really, really well. I'm saying I believe because I don't know off the top of my head.
Yeah, you'd have to look at the data.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that you have your YouTube channel too, that we can reference that, and you guys can obviously go and should go check out Noah's YouTube channel. But like that's what I'm saying, that the biggest benefit I think to what you're doing, and the reason why I'm like excited and to have this video posted is that you like have all these sample sizes, bro. Like for me, I haven't tested a product in like at least a couple months because I've just been focused on my brand, and then when I have a store that I want to like brand, I just stick to it, So there's really not much that goes into my testing, but when it comes to you're testing things basically every day. So
yeah, I usually recommend to test like 2 per week at a minimum.
Yeah.
Just because you got to give yourself time to prepare the product and find the product if you're doing it on your own. We're actually going to start experimenting with brands a little bit.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to implement it with clients because it's kind of something you need more experience to do.
For sure.
But we're going to start using Gem Pages, which is a great app. It like makes funnels inside of Shopify, which the recent case study that I did on how we took that client to 10K a day was actually using Gem Pages. Which I didn't mention in that case study, but we were. So we're going to start implementing like more branded looking sites.
Yeah.
Because believe it or not, up until this point, it's all been general stores.
Really?
Yep, 100% general stores.
Bro, I could see your method like really popping off on like a nice branded site.
Yeah, well, it did.
Yeah, exactly.
Because like sometimes we have clients come in and they already have a site that's branded, so we're just like, whatever, we'll just do it.
Yeah, we'll just run with it.
Yeah, some people prefer niche stores, so we just kind of let them do what they want. I still recommend general stores to my people. Right. Just because I know that it works.
And you can test.
Yeah, but niche stores are not bad.
Right.
Like, when did I do this? I did this October to around April of last year. We took a store to 2.1 million, which was actually a niche store.
Wow.
So, and I've also had another store that was a general store that we took to 1.4 million.
Damn.
And we did that in only 2 months.
In 2 months?
Yeah.
And God.
That was late 2018, I believe.
Wow. Yep. So you scaled the store in 2 months to 1.4 million and it was a general store.
Yeah.
So, I like that you mentioned that because I think so many people get so caught up in like, what's the best store to do? What's the best, like everything, when in reality you just test something, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And that's why I like to say it doesn't matter because I've scaled niche stores, I've scaled one product stores, I've scaled general stores, I've scaled branded stores.
Yeah.
Like we have a company that we've been working with that Like, did you see it on Black Friday?
You shared it. It was like fucking 800 spent, like 600K back, like an insane.
It wasn't
not 600K, 60K, something like that.
Yeah,
but it was still pretty crazy.
Yeah, I think our final numbers was like 1,700 spent for 77K back. And
that's unreal.
Obviously, that is like an established brand that's been around for years. Like you're not going to get those figures with drop shipping.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, I've done it all.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really matter. It's more about the product.
Wow. Yeah, that's really cool, man. I'm really happy to see you killing it. I mean, we've been talking for so long, just through DMs. I mean, since basically I started.
Do you remember the middle of 2018 when you had your fishing rod store?
Yeah, I remember.
Yep. And I remember
those were the days.
I got on a screen share call with you because you were kind of like, what do I do?
Yeah, I was like 1.9 ROAS. I was like, I really want to make this pop, but like I don't know.
Yeah, it was really messed up.
Yeah,
because you had a lot of your subscribers were going to the actual website.
Exactly, so it was getting all fucked up. But I actually really liked the store too, so I wanted to like actually pursue it. But since it was that, I mean, that's the biggest thing that I think dropshipping has that kind of sucks. Is that it's just so so easy to take what you built, and that's where I see have a branded approach sort of more sustainable and long term.
Yeah, you also get returning customers.
Yeah.
Like I have a brand, you've worked with them, Farley Come Ads.
Yeah, for sure.
That is the most fun business that I've ever owned.
Really?
It takes none of my time.
But you have it fully outsourced basically.
Yeah, and I have a partner that does all the management part of it. But having a brand like that, it's like a name and people recognize it.
Yeah, and they buy over and over
again.
Dude,
we have a returning customer. I mean, we can run no advertisements or anything and still do really, really well.
Wow.
So I understand the benefits of branding, especially after, experiencing that.
Yeah.
Which I don't have that much experience doing brands myself, except for that.
I mean, you're just the systems guy, I guess. That's really
another
dope.
great thing about brands, they're assets.
Yeah.
They have a value. House. They have a value to them. And you can build that value. So real estate's great because appreciation, cash flow, it's kind of like real estate, except you can take something that's worth nothing and make it worth 10 million.
Yeah. I mean, that actually brings me to the next topic I actually wanted to talk about is on my channel, I talk about basically everything, even investing and even just whatever. But I wanted to ask you, how do you invest your money? Because I mean, I know that a lot of people want to know more about investing. So
yeah, well, just a basic overview is for the past 2 multifamilies that I have, it's just been turnkey.
Okay, so you invest in multifamily real estate, basically.
Yep. So back home, we're in Arizona right now, but back home in Connecticut, the rental market is really, really great. So I've just been capitalizing on that.
Sorry, the camera just sort of died real quick, but we got everything back in order. So we were talking about real estate and your investments in Connecticut, or how you started with investing.
Yeah, so I mean, I just bought a 3-family. I put 25% down. And obviously I'm saving money, not super aggressively, I'm honestly not that frugal, but I put probably 80% of my money into a savings account specifically for real estate.
Okay, so I mean, that's pretty aggressive way to, I mean, not as aggressive as maybe Graham Stephan out here.
Right,
but,
yeah, definitely not.
But still, that's pretty impressive. I mean, I sort of follow the same philosophies. I'm not extremely frugal. I definitely spend money on stuff, but I save probably about 70 to 80% of my income too. So that's really interesting. And how would you compare then the real estate here versus Connecticut? Which one do you like better?
I like Connecticut better.
Really?
I own 1 3-family in Connecticut, which I've had that for a year now.
Okay.
And that thing is an absolute cash cow.
Damn.
And then I bought a house 2 months ago here in Arizona, which I'm living in right now, but I plan on using it as a single-family rental. But I'm honestly considering just selling it and taking that money and go buying another multifamily.
Yeah.
Because the returns are just so much better back home.
Really?
A good example, I put $100K down on the single family that I have now, the one I'm living in. If I were to rent it out, I would profit around $1,000 a month.
Yeah.
That's a mix of principal payments and cash flow. If I took that $100,000 and went and put it in a multifamily in Connecticut, I would be looking at a monthly profit of $1,500 to $2,000 a month.
Yeah, I feel that.
That's kind of the difference is, Arizona is more of like equity play.
Yeah, it's not much margin, like cash flow.
Yeah, not a whole lot of cash flow. Prices are super duper high.
Yeah.
You know, if you look at multifamily out here, it's about $160,000 per unit.
Wow.
So a 3-unit building is going to be near $500K. My 3-unit building I bought for $200K.
Yeah.
And
wow.
honestly, the rents are better in Connecticut than they are here.
Really?
Yeah. There's
like how much you charge is like better.
So like it was, you know, half the price, and I'm getting the same amount of rent that you would here.
Wow.
So it just doesn't make sense to me, at least, to buy multifamily here.
Yeah, I mean, people make anything work if they really want to, but that's a really interesting perspective. I mean, I'm sure not a lot of people have that, because most people just invest like locally. That is locally to you, because you are from Connecticut. I mean, that I have a property as well, like just a single family home. It's like pretty tiny, to be honest with you, in Minneapolis. But I bought it in the University of Minnesota, which is like one of the biggest schools, and because of that, I've been able to make it cash flow like pretty well, as opposed
to
just
renting bedroom.
Oh yeah, exactly. I just rent the bedrooms to students.
How many bedrooms?
It's 4.
That's another thing I like about investing in Connecticut, is because, can I swear on this, or do you not?
No, go ahead.
The landlords in Connecticut are terrible.
Yeah,
they're absolute shit. And it makes me feel bad. Like every time I go to see a multifamily and I meet the tenants, they're just miserable.
Yeah.
Their stuff is broken, and I just go in there and literally treat them like their family.
Yeah.
You know, like if I go into my tenant's door and knock on it, they'd probably invite me in and give me a cup of water.
Yeah.
So they always pay rent on time.
That's nice.
Yeah, I fix everything, and that's like another opportunity in real estate, is like finding bad neighborhoods and making them better.
Right.
Which is kind of something I want to shift into, which is like buying all on the same street and just increasing the value of everything.
I mean, that's that's actually really noble too, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, you're helping the neighborhood, you're helping the people that live there. I'm sure, honestly, if you are like that with real estate, you're probably like that with your agency. Like, how do you feel with your clients? Like, what's your client relationship like?
A lot of it is hands off, like with me personally.
It's just more outsourced.
But I have customer service. I got customer service, ad buyers, and a manager that they all have direct access to.
Nice.
And sometimes clients DM me, and I have sales guys in there that help handle it.
Damn.
So it's not really interactive with me directly.
Yeah, not anymore.
It could be. Like if somebody's scaling really big, I do jump in and give advice on fulfillment and stuff like that. But no, it's I have the same philosophy, like ethics over everything.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't invest in real estate and be a slumlord. Like it's a lose-lose for everybody.
It is.
Because your tenants aren't going to pay rent.
Yeah, they hate you.
And in a downtime too. Like we're going through this pandemic right now.
Yeah.
And I was one of the only landlords under my management company that actually got rent on time every single month this year.
Wow.
So, and I think part of that is just like treating them well.
Yeah, they actually want, like, they understand.
Yep.
They like you.
Yep. So it's not all about winning with people, with clients. It's not all about winning. Like I've had unhappy clients.
For
just
sure.
give them their money back. You know, like I don't question it as much nowadays because I have a lot of clients, so it doesn't hurt me as bad.
Yeah, right. I mean, obviously, when you're just starting, you have to, you know, it's a little different, but...
And it makes it good because, like, honestly, even if there's, like, a 3-month contract, which we don't do, by the way, because I think it's stupid for this reason.
Yeah.
But, you know, even if they sign up for a month and they use a week, like, if they don't want to be there, I don't want them there.
Yeah.
You know, they're just going to be a bad client.
Yeah, it's not going to be a win-win. Like,
yeah, so it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to treat people bad. It just doesn't, you know.
Nobody wins with that, like, literally. Yeah. I feel that 100%. And now, I mean, I guess you mentioned, too, how you're, like, things are more outsourced now. You have... like 11 ad buyers, you said?
I have 11 ad buyers, 2 managers, 1 customer service rep, 2 or 3 salespeopeople.
Nice. When did you hire your first ad buyer? How long did you run the agency just by yourself for?
All of 2019.
All of 2019?
Yep, and 2018, of course. So that was like that year point where I had all those students.
Hard, bro.
You know,
that's like 16-hour days.
Like banging out calls.
Yeah.
Probably not 16-hour days.
Okay,
it was more like 10 hours on calls.
Yeah.
5 or 6 days a week. It was pretty brutal.
Yeah, that's very draining.
Yeah, and then you got people that miss their calls, and then I got to do makeups and stuff. So that was part of my goal with the agency, was to replicate my strategies more and take less of my time.
Yeah, so separate your time.
Like from a business perspective, as an agency, hiring people was the best thing we could have done.
Yeah, for real.
Because now, not only am I making more money, but we have 2 times the amount of clients.
Yeah.
And honestly, I work like maybe 2 to 3 hours a day now.
Nice.
You know,
that's
like,
perfect. That's the dream. I mean,
yeah.
that's literally the dream. That's why a lot of people get into their, online business in the
Yep.
first place. But I mean, a good lesson to learn from that is, it doesn't start out like that. You gotta, you gotta work in order to get to that point.
You appreciate it a lot more when you actually do everything yourself.
Right.
And another benefit is, I think my manager, Duncan, I made a video with him. I think he's better at a lot of things than I am.
Yeah, exactly. You find people that actually do things better than you. You're not like always gonna be the best at everything.
Like management work, obviously I'm a marketer. I do Facebook ads.
Yeah.
Customer service, I'm a marketer.
Yeah.
I will not. I've had people like tell me you're terrible at customer service.
Yeah.
Like, dude, because I'm not a customer service agent.
That's not my specialty.
Like, I am a marketer.
Yeah.
And so I got customer service in there, and it's working so much better now.
Yeah.
Right. Like, and then the management is going so much smoother because it's not me.
Right.
And that was obviously a humble bite.
Yeah.
But like, you're not the best at everything, and hiring people allows your business to grow.
Yeah.
And honestly, there's some ad buyers on my team that I genuinely think are better at Facebook ads than I am.
Damn.
Which I don't know how the hell that happened.
Yeah. I mean,
but it did.
That's how it goes. That's why it's so important to hire people, man. Especially, and if you invest in them, like you invest in your team, you get to see them like really flourish.
Yep.
Which is really amazing. Yeah, I mean, honestly, we should probably end this pretty soon here. It's getting really long. I'm sure you guys are really going to like this. This has been like really, really value packed, like a really good mix of philosophy and like mindset and just like actionable shit.
Yep.
Which I think is so important. Obviously, you want stuff to be able to take with you and apply like right away. But with that said, I want to, obviously let people know like where can they find you, what your YouTube channel, etc.
Yeah, so I'll have Ari put up my Instagram username up here. That's where I'm most active. You can also go on my YouTube, where I try to upload like once a week at least, sometimes 2.
Yeah.
I'm getting better at it.
So yeah, I'll put all your socials in the description. You guys can find Noah on Instagram, YouTube. I'll put all that right here. Thanks for being here, man. And I really hope that, you keep killing it like you are. That's really crazy.
Will do.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Of course, we'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.